Could we see our first major hurricane of the 2020 Atlantic season with Invest 98L? A lot of emphasis being put on this storm today. Hello, my friends. August 19th, 2020, 5:12 p.m., and we just got finished with our 5 o'clock National Hurricane Update, and we have 3 potential storms in the Atlantic Ocean as of right now. We've been talking about Invest 97L, which has already crossed the Leeward and Lesser Antilles Islands underneath Puerto Rico and now currently underneath Dominican Republic and Haiti. We have the big one out here, 98L, projected to be a possible major hurricane, and then we have another Invest, which should be named very shortly, coming off the west coast of Africa as we speak. This is what we're going to deal with for the next 2 months straight, my friends. The Atlantic Ocean is certainly heating up, especially our trough coming from the western area of Africa and that warm water belt producing many storms right now. We can count 3 as of right now. We've been talking about Invest 97L, now at 80% chance of cyclone formation in 5 days, making its way towards the Yucatan Peninsula, and then probably going to fizzle out. We don't know yet. Once we get into that bathwater of the Gulf of Mexico, you never know what could happen. If you guys remember back when we were tracking Harvey was almost a no storm. Like, no one was putting any emphasis on it or anything, and then once it hit the Gulf, everything changed. So there's no way we can forget about 97L. We're going to focus more on 98L for this video, and then potentially 99L back here. More than likely will be 99L by the end of today. We're going to take a look at the possible tracks of 98L, and then we'll look at the storm itself. Tracks are very tight, guys. We're going straight over the top of the Lesser Antilles Islands, almost clipping Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and then into the Bahamas and southern Florida. Now, when you see spaghetti plots like this and they're this tight, that usually means that most of these places that put these spaghetti plots out are in agreement of where the storm's going to go. Now, what they're not in agreement with is the strength of what the storm's going to reach, and we can see here, again, this is a 90% chance of cyclone formation over the next 2 days, just as well as 5 days. You can see in the bottom of the box here, 48 hours, high 90%, 5 days, high 90%, and that is due to the fact that this storm is starting to really come together. There's 2 areas of watch here, and for those of you that follow weather a little closer, you may understand this a little more, but the National Hurricane Center is having a little trouble finding out where the center mass of this storm is. As you can see here, we have some of that counterclockwise spin that we look for our tropical depressions and tropical storms, but we also have almost a second one out here that seems like it's almost branching off the first. Now, the one up top here, more to the north, is kind of taking over, and that is apparently more than likely going to be the low pressure center of this storm. As we take a wider view, you can see that a little better in this enhanced radar here. We have a little bit of a bottom area here that's kind of being pushed out to the south, and it's all in a counterclockwise motion. And chances are you're going to see this top area of development here that's kind of blowing up those darker, blacker clouds within the red. That one is more than likely going to take over and then continue its path to the west. Now, we talk about this pretty much every video, but it's very important. The Bermuda Atlantic pressure bubble in the Atlantic Ocean is a big high pressure, and it's kind of extending into the western area of the Bahamas and just over top of Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the Lesser Antilles Islands, and that's kind of making a force field, if you want to call it that, and it's kind of keeping this storm down and to the west. So that is the current track as of right now, and that is also why, if we look at the spaghetti plots again, you see this thing almost in a direct western motion, slight northern movement as we move across the top of the islands here, but the overall picture here is that there's a high pressure bubble in the Atlantic Ocean, and it's keeping that storm pressed down. Now, if you guys remember, our counterclockwise spin is due to these storms being in the northern hemisphere, and those storms want to naturally track north. So the only reason this storm has not tracked north yet is because of that high pressure bubble. So until that releases, we really got to watch these plots very closely. You can see this number here, 96, and we have 72. That's how many hours out they predict before the storm is at these spots. So we have a good 3 to 4 days before we really have to show concern for this storm. But the fact that it's showing the possibility, just the possibility of being a major hurricane anywhere between Cat 3 and Cat 5, we could see one plot here putting this thing into Category 4. Many of the plots bringing this well above a Category one storm, which is scary enough on its own, let alone the fact that we do have potentially 3 major storms heading towards the continental U.S. And of course, first we need to take into account the fact that we have people in the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and the Bahamas, including Cuba, and then Cancun, Mexico, before we even get to the continental U.S. So a lot of people to keep informed on a daily basis, even on an hourly basis at this point. When we go from basically no action in the Atlantic Ocean to 3 significant models going on, you know we're getting into peak hurricane season, and that's when things really start turning up, and we're seeing it firsthand on an already record-breaking season. And before I let you guys go, we will have more updates later on. I had a few things to do as far as yard work today, unfortunately, but that's life, isn't it? Yard work's fun sometimes in the sun. We'll take a quick look at Ventus Sky and get an idea of where the GEM model puts this storm at different times. Right now, we are set to Saturday the 22nd. I think that's a little fair assessment, basing that the storm is already kind of above that northern hook of the Lesser Antilles Leeward Islands and projected to be just above Puerto Rico. If we get anywhere near Puerto Rico or land interaction with the Lesser Antilles, we will report on that, absolutely. But just to give you an idea of where the models are taking this as of right now, we can move obviously from east to west when it comes to these storms. We're set at Saturday the 22nd. Here is the 23rd. Here is Monday the 24th. And by this time, we will certainly know more about this storm and 97L. Let's not let that one go. We are just focusing more on 98L for this video, and we'll have plenty more to focus on with 99L right on the heels of 98. So here is Monday the 24th, and we'll take it as far as we can go. Here's Tuesday the 25th. According to this right now, clipping the almost southern end of Florida. It looks like about a third of the way up will be clipped, and then across Florida into the Gulf. Again, this is not set in stone. I'm not putting out any warnings or anything like that. I'm just giving you the current information we have, and then making its way towards the Panhandle and closer to Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama area. Thursday and Friday, calling this storm to be up into the states at that time, and then we'll be moving on with our information as well. So to wrap this up again really quick, as of current time, we have 97L with the 80% chance of cyclone formation in the next 5 days, 60% over the next 48 hours. 98L, the one we are really focusing on to be a high-grade hurricane, 90% chance in the next 48 hours, also 90% chance in the next 5 days. That shows you that they are expecting some significant development with this storm. And then coming off the west coast of Africa recently, we are already at a 30% chance over the next 5 days. It's kind of rare to get these percentages this close to the coast of Western Africa. It just goes to show that we are really in that peak hurricane season, and we're going to see what happens, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the channel at this 5 o'clock update. We are going to start morning updates as well when we really get into the peak of this season. I've already set aside the time for it, and I appreciate each and every one of you. Any questions or concerns, please leave down in the comments section, and I will be back tomorrow as we continue to track these systems. Take care, everybody.